Okay, Mollie, tell us your question.
So what do you enjoy the most about being an interviewer?
I enjoy getting to meet people who I'd never normally have the chance to meet in real life. And I love asking them something that perhaps you wouldn't always ask normally and finding out something a little bit different. So, for example, or Charlie's very good at that. Charlie always asks slightly left field questions, I think is fair to say. So we had a spaceman on today, on ex-astronauts, and rather than just talk about what it was like to be in space, we asked him if he believed in aliens and if he ever looked out of a space shuttle to check for aliens, which you wouldn't normally hear them doing because they usually want to just give the official line. So I think we're very lucky that we get to ask the questions that perhaps normal people don't get to ask, or everyday people don't get to ask.
So, and I think that like today is a perfect example. And this morning we met a man who's been to space, so that's pretty cool. We've met the lady who is currently the biggest selling music star in America. She was sitting here on the sofa. We had 2 dogs who went mad, growling at the cameraman. It's just fun, you know, things happen and you never know what's going to happen. And that's part of the fun of interviewing people is you're never quite sure who's going to say what and what they're going to be like when you actually meet them. So that's really special.
So who's asking the question? Me. Rebecca. You've all got your notebooks ready to take down copious notes. Have you got to feed back on this when you go back to class?
Yeah.
What's been the most exciting part of the day so far?
I think when we arrived, everyone was like just so excited that because they all saw like the BBC logo and things like that.
What do you think of the studio? It's bigger or smaller than it looks on television?
Big.
Bigger.
Yeah.
So have you got a question for us?
Yeah.
Go on then.
How did you feel from the job transfer to news reporter from bartender, and what is the difference in job?
Oh, well, I've done lots of jobs in my life. Some people do one thing all the time, but I started off doing all kinds of jobs. And I used to be a bartender. That's very good research, by the way. How did you know that?
Because it was on the website.
You've done the website. So yeah, in a funny kind of way, I think when you work behind a bar, you talk to people all the time. If I were looking for a similarity, I'd say there is something there because you talk to people and you meet them sometimes for quite a short period of time. And that's what we do on the sofa. So people come in and you have 4 or 5 minutes and you chat and you try and talk to them as much as you can. And it's like a social skill, really. You're a journalist, so you're trying to find out information. But like you and I are talking now, and you're really looking at me, that's a social skill, you know, that makes people talk more. So that's what I'd say.
It's about trying to put people at ease, isn't it, as well? Because when we have guests on the sofa, they could be the biggest stars ever, movie stars in really popular TV series, and yet they come sit here and it's live television, and even they sometimes are a bit sweaty and a bit nervous. So it's our job to make them feel just that little bit more relaxed, so it feels as if it's a conversation with family and friends, as if you're in a restaurant or you're on your sofa at home, and just ignore all of those cameras over there. So it's quite a skill.
Could you just ask the question again?
Wait.
It's the top of it.
Rebecca's question.
Yes, please.
Okay, so Rebecca, they didn't hear what you first asked. So could you just repeat your question?
Yeah. How did you feel from the job transfer to news reporter from bartender, and what is the difference in job?
That's great.
Very good.
Brilliant.
Good question.
Well done. Good research.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. All the boys.
Hi there, I'm Charlie.
Is the speaker?
Hello there, I'm Charlie.
Christopher.
Hello there. What's your name?
Christopher.
Reece, hello, I'm Naga. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Connor. Naga, nice to
Put your
meet
hand
you.
up for a second, love. There you go. Now sit down, Christopher.
Hello.
Spit to your left,
Have
Christopher.
a look at me.
Don't
When
be
you
fi-
shake
don't be
someone's
scared.
hand, Chris, I'm going to give you a hint for your future. When you shake someone's hand, look at them. Look them square in the eye.
Okay, shake my hand.
Don't take any nonsense
Square
from
in the
them.
eye.
Are you in charge of the
Square in
question?
my eye. That's
Good.
it. Stand by, everybody.
Well, just wait until they say. Does it look weird seeing yourself there? See, like,
Yeah? Okay, so Jez is happy. So, Chris, we're going to get you to ask your question loudly.
Out of all the jobs, what was your favourite job?
On TV? Or ever?
Ever.
Well, we should say this, shouldn't we?
I'll answer that. This job, doing BBC Breakfast, is amazing because you meet everyone. You meet the Prime Minister, he's had a seat right where you are now, and we get to interview him. We meet movie stars, and we meet astronauts. We meet all sorts of people, and we meet lots of people who've just had extraordinary things happen to them as well. So people who've been in big news events. So I think this is the best job because you meet fascinating people every day.
I think this is the best job I've ever done. But my favourite job ever was when I worked in the school tuck shop. Just because I was surrounded by the sweets. And as great as this is, we don't get given sweets every day. So if I'm to choose between sweets and the Prime Minister, the sweets just edge it.
Favourite sweet?
Favourite sweet? Sherbet, flying saucers.
About you?
Humbugs.
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 Yours?
Don't really have one.
You don't have a
Good.
favourite sweet?
That's a good answer.
Then you'll have good teeth as well. Favourite sweet?
I like all of them.
You don't like all of them.
I like all of them.
You like all of them. Ah, good man. Good answer. Thanks very much for coming on the
Thank you.
sofa. It's not as comfortable as it looks, is it?
Thanks a lot. Come on in. Hello there, come and sit down.
Take a seat there. And your name is?
What are your names? Let's shake your hands. I can't hear you, lovely. Chloe, lovely to meet you. Roxanne.
James.
James. Good, strong, firm handshake, James.
morning.
Like that.
Look in the eye, James.
Right, so you've just got to get used to seeing yourselves in the cameras because it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Sit on there.
Seeing there. All
See,
good?
James doesn't even have any notes, look.
James doesn't need notes.
Are you asking the questions, James?
I'm asking one.
Good.
Okay,
Go for it.
What do you like working for the BBC and why? What, do you like working for the BBC and why?
No, I don't like working for the BBC. I'm joking. I do like working for the BBC, and I like working for the BBC because we have the best job in the world. We get lots of chances to meet wonderful people, and I like being, as a journalist, I like the chance to ask questions. And working here on BBC Breakfast, we get to ask people questions all the time, just like you did then. But we get to ask people all the time, and that's a real privilege.
And we get to be part of a corporation that has journalists all around the world. You know, the BBC is huge when it comes to reach, and we try to touch parts of the world that other broadcasters don't have the resources to get to, be it on radio, online, on TV. And I think we're very privileged to be able to talk to journalists from all around the world who can feed us their stories, and we learn every day. The great thing about being a journalist is that it's almost like you're never out of school, but not in a bad way, in a good way, because you're learning about things you're interested in, and you're always being educated without almost even knowing it. It's not like someone standing at the front of the class. What's your teacher's name? Mrs. Toughnail.
Yes.
Yeah, Mrs. Toughnail. I heard she's tough and she's as hard as nails, yeah? And sometimes when she tells you things, you think, oh, I'm not in the mood to listen, but we're always in the mood to listen and learn. And so being a journalist in any organisation, I think, gives you that opportunity. And I think I feel very lucky to be able to go to work every day and learn something new, come away with something new in my arsenal of knowledge. So I think regardless of whichever journalistic corporation you work for, we're very privileged, I think.
Well done. Have you got a question as well?
What was your favourite subject at school?
Favourite subjects at school? So my favourite subject was probably Charlie's least favourite subject. My favourite subject was maths. Loved maths. Love numbers, love figures, love trying to conquer problems. And the thing about maths is it's a pure science. There's always a correct answer. as long as you work through it. So that's how my brain works. So I loved maths.
I probably liked French because I learnt French when I was at school. So I probably like that best. And I can still speak a little bit now. So it's quite useful. Do you speak a language?
Yeah. Spanish.